Hello to my fellow YouTubers. It has been a minute since I have recorded a video. A couple things have happened. So I think the last video I recorded was about like nursing school, COVID, stuff like that. I actually recently moved. If you can't tell, the background is a little different. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in seeing an apartment tour, let me know. I would be so excited to show you guys. I bought a decent amount of furniture. My last apartment was very, I don't know how to explain it, but like I didn't decorate at all. So it was just, it always felt like a cave to me, but I was really inspired to try and make this place a little more cozy, especially because like we're all staying home right now. So I don't know, I guess maybe that's why, but that in combination with moving, like, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to like really design this place. I don't know. But anyway, so today I wanted to tell you guys basically, if you're planning on going to nursing school, I want to give you some tips and some things that you can study beforehand, because I know that this was something I was dying to know whenever I was starting out. I had taken an extra semester off because of the way that my school accepts people. I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but basically you have to have a certain number of science classes done and over with so they know what grade you got in it. And so unless you have those done, you can't apply. Long story short, I had to apply for the spring nursing school session thingy to start, and so that meant I got to take the previous fall off, if that makes sense. If not, sorry. But yeah, so I put together a little list. I have it on my iPad here, so I'm just gonna like reference that throughout the video because I'm way too scatterbrained to try and remember all of them off the top of my head. I know I'll forget one, or like I'll start rambling about something else. But anyway, so the first thing that I think you should like really brush up on before you start nursing school, actually let me backtrack for a second. So this is going to be for people who have already taken the prerequisites. It's so confusing to try and explain like nursing school to people that don't understand. Like, I feel like there's so many different pathways to get to where you want to get to. So whenever I'm talking in a video, I try to accommodate as many people in as many like situations as possible. For me personally, my school, they required that you do, I think it's 4 semesters of prerequisites. It took me around 2 years. Those are kind of like your basics. You're gonna take history, math, chemistry, all of that, and anatomy. So I'm talking towards the prerequisite courses. If you are going to a school that like starts nursing courses like your freshman year of college, this video might not be as helpful for you. I still think you could get some like helpful tips from it, but I'm talking more so about like what prerequisite courses like you really do use again and which ones you don't use again in nursing school. One more thing before I get like officially started. If I haven't said it already, I'm Brittany. I am a nursing student in my last semester. I'm very excited about that. So I feel like I've been around the block a little bit with the craziness of nursing school, and I feel like at this point, like, I can probably give some valuable advice to anyone going through nursing school or like wanting to go through nursing school. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so my first tip, okay, so I wrote down here that one thing you want to like keep in your brain and not just like information dump afterwards is anatomy and physiology. Now, this might seem like so common sense. Like, of course, you want to be a nurse. Like, why wouldn't you remember anatomy and physiology? I don't know, but I did want to say you definitely need to know it 100%. If not just the anatomy, like definitely the physiology part. It would help so much if you have like a true grasp on how like the body works, like the organ systems and all of that. Specifically, I think the most important would probably be the cardiovascular system. So that's your heart and your lungs. I would know the anatomy of the heart in and out. I would probably know all of the vessels around the heart too, like the arteries and the veins. I would know all of those, like the coronary arteries, that's what I'm trying to get to. I would know all of those types of things. I kind of breezed through that in anatomy. Like I was like, oh, I'm not actually gonna have to know this, but it is something that you definitely do need to know, especially as a nurse. Yeah, so I would say cardiovascular system, how the entire system works from the heart to the lungs to the rest of the body, capillaries, veins, arteries, all of that. Like I would know that to a T. Of course, they're gonna teach you all of this again in nursing school, so it's not like if you just completely like missed it in anatomy, it's not like you're gonna be like thrown to the wolves and like never gonna get that again. They will teach you everything you need to know, but it is definitely helpful to already have a grasp on things like that, because nursing school is so stressful. So just having that little extra like oomph to like really know the content, it is really helpful. So yeah, I'm just referencing my list on my iPad. I think I already said that, but just in case. Yeah, so okay. One more thing before I move on to the next topic. The renal system, for some reason, for me, like I did go through it in anatomy and it just never stuck. Like I don't understand why I have such an issue with the renal system, but it just confuses me. Like I don't know, or it did confuse me. Like I know it now, but when I went through it in anatomy, I don't know, it was really hard. And then again in nursing school, I had to really try and understand it. So yeah, the top two systems I would really focus on are cardiovascular and the renal system. Of course, every single body system is very important for you to know and understand. But if you only have a little bit of time or you just get burnt out, I would start with those two. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I just want to let you know that if they make you take a chemistry as a prerequisite, it is just a weed out course. It is not content that you will ever need to know. Oh my goodness, can I tell you about OChem? I hated that class so much. I literally don't remember anything from OChem. Like I really just like learned the information to get a good grade on the test, and then I dumped it all out. Like I don't remember one thing from it, literally, like at all. So, and I'm just about done with nursing school. I have been relatively successful. Never once have they brought up any, I don't know what those things are called, but like the little formations. See, this is what I'm saying. Like you don't need to know it. Like I've never used anything from chemistry or OChem at all. But I will say it was the hardest prerequisite course I took, definitely. So yeah, if you are struggling in chemistry, like do not worry. It is not the end of the world, and it's not gonna affect you if you don't know it. Like it's just not. It's just one of those courses that nursing schools want to see if you can make it through, because like I said, nursing school is really hard and it's really tough, and I guess they figure if you can make it through that, then you can probably make it through nursing school. I don't know, that's the logic there. But yeah, so don't worry about chemistry. Don't study it again. Don't try to keep up with whatever. The craziest thing is, I know when I was at an information session for one of the nursing schools I was considering, the lady literally was like, you're gonna be responsible for chemistry and all of your prerequisite courses, so make sure you know all of that information like really well. And I'm just thinking, like, I've been through nursing school and like not once has anything with chemistry came up. Like I can't even think. The only thing, literally the only thing is like acid-base balance, and fluid and electrolytes, kind of, like that's it. But it's such a, like, small little, like, of course those topics are really important in nursing school, but relatively, like, to take a whole chemistry course to try to understand that, which does have something to do with chemistry, but it's not like you need to know organic chemistry to understand acid-base balance. Like, come on guys. But anyway, so I've rambled about that one for quite a long time. So on to my next tip. Okay, so this one I think is really important too. So I have written here that some important diseases that I think are pretty common in nursing school and in the hospitals and just in general, like, these are things that you probably should brush up on if you are thinking of going to nursing school or trying to prepare earlier, anything like that. So I would say diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, myocardial infarction, what that is, what you're supposed to do, basically like any common chronic disease you can think of. Of course, myocardial infarction isn't necessarily chronic, but it's caused by chronic things. I don't know. I don't want to get into it, but basically just like any chronic disease you can think of, I would probably brush up on it because it's going to be something you're going to need to know. Like I said, diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, all of that. It's going to be something that you really are going to want to know. So with that, I do recommend going to Registered Nurse RN on YouTube and just typing up those videos. Let me tell you, she has saved my life literally so many times, especially with this COVID stuff. Back in March, my school went completely online. No in-person lecture, no in-person clinical, like everything was online, and for me, focusing like that was not cutting it. Like, I just couldn't do it. I was so unmotivated, and I just couldn't grasp any of the content. So Registered Nurse RN on YouTube really helped me. She caters to nursing students in general, so she knows what we need to know, so she's really helpful. Yeah, even if you are currently a nursing student or whatever the case is, like, I don't care who you are, like, she's great. Just look up her videos and she's amazing. So yeah, so my next tip is to look up Ecg strips. What are Ecg strips, if you don't know? They're basically whenever they put those little sticky pads, whenever you see them put those on people, and it's basically measuring the electricity going through the heart. And they come out on the little, like, doot, 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 you know what I mean? I don't know. Have you seen Grey's Anatomy? I think they're in Grey's Anatomy. Anyway, so Ecg strips. I would, again, look up videos on YouTube about Ecg strips, and for me, they were kind of difficult to really grasp and understand. So if you are not yet in nursing school and just trying to prepare, I would just kind of brush up on ECG. Like, I wouldn't try and get a full, complete understanding of it because it might be overwhelming without, like, the other nursing school background information. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of my advice on that. You definitely can try and, like, really grasp it. There's amazing videos on YouTube. Again, I love YouTube. I literally spend, like, all day long on YouTube, I swear. Yeah, so ECG strips, something really important to know and know how to interpret. Once again, my next tip has to do with YouTube. So I don't know. So I was gonna say you should go on YouTube once again and look up certain skills. The problem with this part is you're not really gonna be able to practice them unless you have special resources, but look up skills that nurses do, such as inserting IVs, inserting NG tubes. Why can't I think of anything? Changing wound dressings. I don't know if there's a video of that on YouTube or not, but giving immunizations if there's a video. I'm sure literally every single thing that nurses have to do, I have a feeling it's somewhere on YouTube. Someone somewhere has tried to teach this skill through a video. But my biggest one really is get yourself comfortable with IVs. It's definitely a skill that nurses do for sure. So yeah, it will be less overwhelming and scary if you already have that background of like watching that video and knowing like the process. If you want, I can definitely link some videos that I really like down in the description box just so you can go check them out. I'm a nursing student, like almost done, so I can pretty much vouch that they are accurate and they're pretty much like accepted ways of performing the skill. So yeah, just look up skills on YouTube. Okay, so my next tip is to look up fluids and electrolytes. Again, this is something, hop on YouTube and look it up. Fluid and electrolytes, either registered nurse RN or just type in for nursing students or even medical students. It's a topic that you use like every single day in the hospital. That and lab values. So definitely brush up on your lab values. I recommend getting a set of flashcards and basically just using flashcards to make yourself remember the lab values. It took me a while. I don't think until my 7th semester or 3rd semester, whichever way you want to think of it, basically my second to last semester in nursing school, that's when I really like grasped the lab values, and I don't have to like look it up anymore. I can just think of it in my head and be like, oh yeah, that's the normal range. But yeah, definitely find a source out there and look up lab values. Okay, so my last little tip, this one's definitely going the extra mile, but it's very important in nursing school. So I kind of came up with a little list of drugs or medications that I see in the hospital all the time in clinical. So my first one is furosemide. And if you aren't a nursing student, that probably sounds like a foreign language to you. But I promise you will see this medication, like 1000%. You will see furosemide. So just look that up. I like to look up the Davis PDFs of every medication. They'll kind of give you the background and tell you what it's for. So the next one is Nsaids. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, otherwise known as, is that the right way to say it? I don't know. Ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is an NSAID. There's a whole other list of NSAIDs, but that's a big one that everybody uses in the hospital. Unless you have other side health issues, you see that used a lot. Anything ending in OLOL. So that is a beta blocker. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because, again, I think this is like really going over the bar if you're going to look up these medications and like remember them, you know. I think you can probably wait till nursing school to do this, but again, I know there's high achievers out there. I, for one, really wish a video like this was out there when I was looking for it. But anyway, yeah, so OLOL beta blockers. Next one is going to be the suffix, right? Suffix, the end of the word. It's going to be Pril, P-R-I-L, and those are ACE inhibitors. Again, these are really common in the hospital. You're going to want to know common side effects, reasons you wouldn't give this medication to someone, basically the whole runaround. You want to know about these medications. The next one, I feel like this one's random, but for some reason, like every nursing exam always asks me a question about iron supplements. So that's just another thing to like get down in your brain early on. Iron supplements, tell me the side effect, or not, don't tell me, but I'm saying like know what the side effects are, what you would give it for, things like that. Basically, again, Davis PDF that will be your best friend in nursing school. I'm just telling you right now, it will. But yeah, so iron supplements. And the last one, I hear people talking outside. They're probably wondering why I'm talking to myself about medications, but it's for you guys. I want to help y'all. So next one, types of insulin. This is probably a no-brainer. Insulin is really, really important, and I think every hospital I've ever been to, there's a standing order for insulin for every patient, no matter what. So definitely know your types of insulin. There's a bunch of different types. I didn't know this until I got into nursing school. I actually had a dog who was diabetic when I was younger, and I actually gave him like insulin shots when he ate. Of course, back then I didn't understand anything about it. I just knew that it was this like white liquid in a little vial that I drew up in a syringe and gave it to him in his butt when he was eating. But yeah, so insulin is definitely something to know. There's a bunch of different types of insulin. Again, Registered Nurse RN has a wonderful video explaining all the different types of insulin and their names, because here's a little disclaimer. Every single medication has like at least 2 names to it. So there's the generic name and then there's the trade name. So for example, Tylenol, everybody knows Tylenol. That is the trade name. The generic name is acetaminophen. Those are Tylenol and acetaminophen, the exact same thing. But for some reason, like, they just had to complicate it, and you have to know both names for both for the one medication. So if someone says give 650 milligrams of acetaminophen, you know that's Tylenol, or 650 milligrams of Tylenol, you know that's the same thing as acetaminophen. So yeah, it's hard enough trying to memorize drugs and then just add that little sprinkle of difficulty into it, and it's really difficult. But you guys can get through it, and I recommend flashcards for that. Yeah, flashcards. Flashcards will be your best friend in nursing school. That is definitely true. Okay, so this is a little bonus tip. You guys have probably seen this through YouTube. I know I saw this when I was looking for like things to buy or study before nursing school, and it's this. Is this backwards to y'all? I think it is. I don't know. I'm sorry. It says Nclex-Rn Examination. Basically, this is the Saunders comprehensive review. I bought this literally, I think, the day I was accepted into nursing school. You know what? I'm lying. I literally bought this when I was in A&P 2, which was before I was accepted. So I bought this, and of course I never opened it. But I thought for some reason I was going to use it beforehand. But anyway, this book is basically, this is just a random page, but it's basically a gigantic nursing school like cram book. If there's anything that you're not understanding, and I have used this in nursing school, especially in my adult like med-surg class, I use this book a lot. But basically, it's a big giant review of anything you're gonna learn in nursing school. So if all else fails and you like have no idea what to look at before nursing school, you can just skim through this book. Like, go to the first page and like look at topics and decide what you want to study for the day, and that would be really helpful too. This is basically an NCLEX review book, which the NCLEX is the licensing exam you take after you graduate to basically say, yeah, this person is a safe nurse and they're most likely not going to kill anyone. So yeah, so that's it for the tips that I have. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you got to this point in the video and listened to me ramble this whole time, thank you so much. Honestly, I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to leave any comments down below. I will respond to them as soon as I see them. And like and please subscribe. It would help me so much. And let me know of any video suggestions or anything y'all are wondering. I am stuck in my apartment during quarantine and I just really want to make content for y'all, so let me know. Bye. Thanks.